Hello everyone, how are we doing today? It's Angela and time for a little Friday video. So I hope that you're all excited because we're going to start on our Melodies of Nature journal, and I'm so looking forward to getting this one on the road. So today we're going to make some inroads. Okay, first of all, I hope you saw my last video. I did put together a freebie. It is available in my website shop. You'll find that in the new this month tab or the freebies tab. And alternatively, if you are a Facebook member of mine, you can pick it up in the files tab on the homepage. All right. Links for any of that are available in various places. Instagram, my YouTube main page, in the links for any one of my videos. Just press new. More, it says more, and then more again, and a wealth of information drops down there if you didn't know that. All right, so we are going to use this page today. It's part of the 3-page freebie I gave you in the last video. All right, so you will need to cut all of that out, just this one. Okay. And then I also said I would show you the order of the pages that I've put into 2 separate signatures. So we'll start off there, and then we're going to decorate the cover, and I'll talk you through. So this video might be a little bit longer than normal, but just stop or fast forward to the parts that you don't want to see if there are any of those. All right, so I have created 2 separate signatures here. They have each got 17 sheets of paper in them, but I will tell you that we aren't going to be making piles of chunky things to go in here. So that is definitely not the intention. I do want to make this a writing journal, very similar to the sort of level we put into our Whispers of Spring journal, which is probably my second best journal ever, and this is my first. All right, so I'm going to start off. Let's just call Mr. Squirrel here the first signature, and I'll just open these pages up so that it's easier for you to see. All right, so this is the first page I'm going to have for the first signature. Okay, and I have already shown you what goes on the back of those, so I'm not going to stop and do it, but you'll see it anyway. All right, so that's that, and that is the blue stripe there. Then I've added, as I said I would, 2 sheets of the cream paper, this one here, the lacy cream background pages, which is what I add into just about every journal I make. I don't think I did it with the fairies, but I've done it with all the others. This is a great staple. I have this as printed kit or digital. It's really reasonable and it's useful in so many ways. All right, so I've got a sheet of paper here. What I did was, which I always tell you, I folded, this one I did 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches on one of the sides, and once you've done that, you just match that up to the edge there. All right, that's what I've done. So I'm going to put that in over there. And I'm making layers because this is the next page that will follow. So when you look at it, you'll see that I have a plan for that page. So that's really what we're looking at there. Okay, so this is this page with the little stream and the light and everything there, and the bird pair in the corner. And that has the gold toil on the back. Then I've added one of these. This is the double-sided sheet from my background pages. I've added this with the birds and the quotes. All right, that's going in there. Then I have taken one of the bags. You've got different ones. They could be the green and cream, or this color, craft and green. I've got different ones I sent you, so just have a look there. There's also the one with the 2 robins on, so you want to take one of those. I've just folded it in half and put that over there. Right, then I've added the bird page. It's the one with the robin. It's the first page. All right, I folded that in half. That's going to go in over there. And then this is the first of the writing pages. All right, it's this one. It's like a neutral base, this one, and it's got these animals which I printed on the back. It came from the journal pages kit. All right, so that's there. Then I've taken a tea stain page, done exactly the same, 2.5 inches join it up there like that. The cream one I did that way. This one I'm doing this way, so that the flaps on the left. All right. We've got the bird bath pear there. That has these lovely green patterns on the back. And then another one of our altered music pages with the hare and the toads. Another cream page. I have just folded this in half. That's all I've done there. And then we've got the wheelbarrow page that has the blue ditzy pattern on the back. And then I stuck in my, I've just got one Edith Holden page, which I am sticking into each signature. I'm just pulling off that thread there. So this was my dragonfly one, water lily and dragonfly. All right, I folded this over 2 inches and I folded that side over 2 inches, and I've just cut off a very little bit just so that it will fit into my signature. All right, so you can see it fits in there. I did a little bit of trimming, not much. I don't like to cut these pages, so I usually tend to put a paper clip with something in there so that when I'm looking at it I can still see the whole image. All right, so that's going to go over there. Then this is a background page on both sides, just folded in half. Then our second writing page. All right. This one has this bird collage page. Listen to Abby. And then I've got a tea stain page, again folded 2.5 inches there and just folded it in half. And then we've got a music page with a little mice family. This is a background page. It's just the green stripes in half. And then your very last one is the fox and the hare with the brambles. All right, so that is the very first signature. All right, it's going to look amazing. I've worked out the color, you know, how to sort of spread them out evenly as best I could and still match up things. So that's what we've done with that one. And then the second one, let me put that one over there, is a similar setup. We've got this as our first page. I love this. I just love the view and all the details you can see so far down there. I love that. So that's the cover page for the second signature, and that's got the green stripes. And then again, taken our cream page, folded it like that. You've got your 2.5 inches there. And I folded it over. That's going there. And then we've got this lovely page with the bridge. Has the blue toil on the back. Then instead of the birds in the other one, I put the butterflies in here. It's a background page from your background pages. Then I've taken this bag, folded it in half to go in here. And then we've got the squirrel and the fox music pages. Now you have 6 designs. Effectively, you're going to have this way, and then the other one it's that way. All right, so it's just the underside of that. So we're using that one. You've got this writing page with a little squirrel there. It's got all the birds, the collage page on the back, and then I've taken the tea stain page again. It's a duplicate in placement of the other, so you know, it's very similar. It's just different images which I've spaced accordingly. Here's the trunk and butterflies page that has the blue pattern on the back. And then we've got another music page with the badgers and the little otters. I love otters. And then a folded in half cream background page. We've got our Promenades of Nature page. I love this too. I do love this kit. And then the yellow ditzy flower. This is where Edith Holden in May is going, and I've just done that. All right, so that'll go in there. And then I've got the green bramble page as a fold in half page there. We've got, this has got like a slight green undertone with the nests. It's the writing page. And it's got the birds on the back. And then we've got our tea stain page again, just 2.5 inches there. And then the last of the book pages, all right, with the nest and the robin. And that's the lovely autumn shades there. And then we've got this background page, folded just in half. And then our last one with the hedgehogs and the mice. Isn't that adorable? And then we've got that page there. All right. So that makes up your 2 signatures. If you needed to put that on a slower speed, which you possibly do, then please do. I'm trying to keep this as straightforward and not too complicated at all. All right, now let's get on to the cover. That's our main project today. Now I have covered my cover. I have made it 3.5 inches here. It's 6.5 here. This is going to depend on whether you are going to be using US letter or A4 size, this bit. All right, you might be able to use 6 inches if it's a US size, but I have done 3.5 inches over here, the spine. Okay, I will be using the elastic. I couldn't do that now because of the cover that I'm going to wrap the lace around, but I will be putting in the elastic in here, and I'll show you that to you next time, with the 2 pieces that are printed in portrait that are going to go in there, and we'll put something else for the elastic. All right, I have done that before, so I will link in the video for you to see how I do that. Okay, and that's really what the cover looks like, and I love it. Okay, so I'm just using my candle to keep that straight, and we're going to start putting together our bits now for this cover. And I'm going to start off first of all with this piece over here. All right, so you will have cut that out. I have done that and I've covered mine, but I wanted to show you how I go about it from one I've done before. I've done this 3 or 4 times before in the past, so it's not hard and it's easy to explain. I'm going to use this one from the Timeless Travel. Okay, and I've got some measurements here. Okay, let me grab this. Right, so what you need to do first of all is get a piece of card. Now, something like cereal box, pasta box, craft card, whatever you have, scrap card. And you want to cut that piece here to this edge to this edge. This is not to size, guys. I'm just using it. 4.25 inches in width. That is 10.7 centimeters by 5.75 inches in length, which is 14.7 centimeters. All right, so that's the side of the card. Now, what you need to do once you've done that is measure 1/4 inch to get the width on each side. Measure it and cut out the center bit there. And this bit around each side is a 1/2 inch, sorry. 1/2 inch. That's 1 point, I've rounded it up, 1.3 centimeters. So that's what you measure in, and draw your little block there and cut that out. I did it with my craft knife. All right, that's just the craft card. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece here, and with this craft card cut out, you're then going to place it on top of that and stick it down. You're not going to stick it on this side, you're going to stick it on the wrong side. Okay, so you're going to take this craft piece and stick it on the wrong side. Okay, then what you do once that's down is you go and measure about 1/4 inch on this side and this side, all around this craft frame. Okay, and cut it out that size. All right, so you're going to cut it with this extra 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is about, I'd say, guys, go with 5 millimeters or slightly more, but that doesn't matter. All right, it's just a guide. And you have this extra bit around here and here, this side of the frame and that side. Then what I did was I mitered the corners. That's what this is. You cut off straight across all 4 corners like I've done here, and then you snip into the corner on all these sides here. All right, then you take your bone folder, you run it on all the edges here like that, so that it's going to give you a nice crisp edge when you bend it over. All right, and then you just guide it up with your fingers like this. There we go. And that side like that. Use your bone folder, get it nice and smooth. You can see it's nice and clean there. And then it's just a case of sticking these down. All right, I'm not going to do all of that, I'm just showing you. You just go around and stick all of these down. So I would start with the inside ones, and I would also use a couple of clips. And then once you've got that all done, you will have a completed frame. All right, so that's how you're going to go all the way around like that. Now these little miters will make sure that the corner is nice and crisp and pointy. All right, so that's what you need to do. Once you've cut it all out and stuck all the bits down, you're left with this. Okay, and this measures what I told you, 4 1/4 inches this way and 5 3/4 that way. So that's 10.7 by 14.7 centimeters outer edge to outer edge. Okay, you've got this 1/2 inch border here. That's 1.3 centimeters all the way around. All right, now you'll have to cut out all the other bits as well. You don't need to cut that on there. I just added that, so I filled the paper. All right, so that's where we are at the moment. Now, what we want to do is, we've got our little piece there. I didn't cut that off, you don't need to. I've cut out my little bird image, isn't he cute? And I've also cut out from my single pieces of paper, I've cut out one of these. Now this measures, I'll tell you, when you place your frame down on your paper, you're looking like 1/8 of an inch around the edges there. Okay, my piece measures 4 1/2 inches by just over 5 3/4. All right, so that is 15 by 11 1/2 centimeters. Okay, and this we're going to end up sticking on here. All right, okay, so the first thing I would suggest is putting on some glue. Let me just see now before I do it. Okay, you want to go quite close. I've left this little strip there, which is fine. I want to go quite close on the little border bit of my image. Okay, and I'm now going to just leave this like this. Use my little frame and get that glue down. There we go, so that's stuck down, and you can go and turn it over as well. Okay, so there's your little framed image now. Now I do have a little tab here which I cut out of this paper, and you want to just get some glue onto that there. I'm going to get that stuck on over here. Actually, I want it a bit higher. Sorry. A little bit higher. There we go. That's better. All right, so we've got that done. And I do have 3 buttons here, which I did want to get sewn on. Now, I should have done this beforehand, but I didn't. But I'm just going to take some embroidery thread here. Really easy, so I'll probably just fast forward this after I've done one. Okay, so I've got these little tortoise shell buttons from long ago. I just want to put some thread in because I don't really like buttons on there that I haven't got thread in, but that's just my own choice. You can stick them on without doing this. And I just want to make a little knot on the top. Okay, I usually stitch them straight onto my frame, but we're not doing that today. Somebody's screaming in the park, so I do apologize. It could be worse, trust me. Okay, and then we want to just line up the thread with the edge of the button, and we are going to stick those on over here. So let me just do these quickly. Okay, so I've got my 3 little buttons there, and I'll come back to those in a minute. Now what we want to do is, and I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac to do this, I want to stick this onto the base here. All right, so let's get this stuck down. And then we want to just get this onto this little base piece here. Okay, just gives us something to work with on our little bits. It's just giving it like a nice green border. Right, now what I've done is I've taken another piece of paper. It's this background piece, and I love this paper. We're going to get this stuck on here, but why I'm doing this is going to act as a pocket now for a little tag. So I'm going to move it slightly longer. I'm going to give you some quick measurements for this. It is 6 3/4 by 5 inches. 5 inches that way, 6 3/4 this way. That is about almost 13 centimeters by 17.5. Okay, so I've just torn it with my ruler. You can do it with your fingers or whatever it is that you feel happy doing. And I am going to move it. As you can see, the gap here is slightly more than here. This is about 1/2 inch, and that's more like 3/4 inch. All right, so that's where I'm going to be sticking that, and I'm going to use my pencil just to gauge exactly where I want it. Then I've got it straight. This is just going to give me the confidence I need when I glue it. All right. And you won't see the pencil mark, but it's there. So when I flip it over with glue all over, I know where I'm going. Right, hand at the top. You don't want glue there. And then you're going to run your glue down the side, down the bottom, and along here. All right, so there we go, like that. Okay, and now straight to those lines without a worry in the world, and stick it down. All right, so we've got a pocket there now. I'm not going to do anything with it quite yet because we're going to get to that, but that'll dry so long. All right, now before I go any further, I forgot to mention, if you're not sure how to create a hard cover or how to cover it with the fabric, I will link videos from previous projects I've done. I think it's Lilac Lovelies, one of those, where I show you how to do that step by step. All right, it's the same every time, so I don't want to bore everybody with things that they might know. But if you're not sure, I do have a full video, and it will be in the playlist for this journal. So all you have to do is go to the description box or my playlist tab on my YouTube, look for playlists, look for Melodies of Nature journal project, and everything, all the videos I've put together or linked to this project will be in there, and you can follow along with whatever level of expertise you have. All right, so we've got this now, and now we're going to use all these other bits that I said you needed, these bits here, to decorate this so long. All right, once I've got this all put together, I'm going to show you how we put all the elements together, the different sections. Right, so the first thing I did was I've cut out the little bits and pieces, And I did take 2 bits of greenery from my die cuts. If you don't have something like that, it's not a crisis. Any greenery you might have, if you do, would work. In this kit, I've got a lot of greenery that you can fussy cut out, and you could use those if you don't have die cuts. All right, so I've got one of these, and I'm going to place it down here, and then I'm going to make a little arrangement with this longer blue one, the cream one, and something like that. Okay, so we will start with this and get this glued on. All right, so this is going to go at the top here, and I'm going to curve it in slightly. All right, then we will take this little one, just like that. And I like that it has a little bit of depth with the frame. And we are going to do this one. I'm going to see right now where I need to stick it, and then this one will go last. There we go. Now we're going to do the bottom. So we've got the same kind of a piece. Just arrange it first so I can see how I want it. So we've got that little bit there. Then we have got this little bit. We've got a white flower and a blue one. So again, I'm going to go like that. I'm going to put the little blue piece like that and the white bit like that. Move that up a little bit. All right, let me do that and I will be right back. Okay, so there you go. There's our little front topper for our journal, and I have also just stuck on those 3 little buttons as well, just to finish it off over there. All right, so we've got our little pocket over there. I've taken one of the tags from the kit, added a little ribbon from the Ultimate Bundle, and that's going to just go into the top there. I think it just finishes it off perfectly. I want to just get it a little bit straighter. There we go. Isn't that cute? All right, so this is now going to go onto our journal at the top here. And when it's finished, you're in our best position to see where you want it to go. All right, now I want to get it further up because I do want to put some lace at the bottom. Of course I do. You know what I'm like. So I want to just get that positioned there. And then we're able to see. So I've got this lace, which I save especially for this, and I want to get this on here. Yeah. And then we'll get that like that. And then I've got the blue lovely lace that we are also going to put on here. And I'm not sure if I want to put it all the way around. I think I will. So with that there, I think I'm going to just move that up just a little bit more. And I'm going to put this one just over the top of that edge there once that cream one is stuck down. All right. So that's what it's going to look like, which I think is lovely. All right. Now, while I've got that there, I'm going to take that one off because that's easily done. I want to make a little mark over there. I'm just looking at it. And then what I like to do is take my ruler. I can see my little marks over there. And get it nice and straight. You're not going to see these pencil marks. So, but it is going to help you make it a straight line. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to glue this one down and the other one on top. And then I will join you again. All right. Okay, so I've stuck all the lace down. And there we go, nice and straight because I drew the line. And we've still got all that beautiful fabric visible there. It's just the top that I want the topper on. I do love this fabric. I have visions of making all sorts of things with it. You got to let me know if you fancy that idea too. Right, so we've got our topper now. So now it's really easy to see exactly where we want to place it. Bear in mind we're going to have a closure there once I've put the other bits on inside. So I'm going to sort of get it in this position here, and I think that looks about straight. So again, I'm going to just make some little marks so that I know where to put it. And now I can go and stick on the back here. Nice and easily done. And it's going to be a fantastic journal. The closure for this is that faux silk in the lovely same blue as this ribbon. And it's going to look fantastic. So I'm just going straight to my little marks that I've made here, which are giving me the guidance I need, and then just press it down. And the good thing about Fabri-Tac is if it's not exactly where you want it, it's forgiving, and you can just press where you need to wiggle it or move it or whatever. There we go. How amazing is that? Really simple, because all the sizes have been made for you. It's really just cutting out these sheets. Now, if you haven't picked up an ultimate bundle and with the lace and the ribbons and everything I'm going to use, we will be using it throughout the journal, of course. I do have just a few of them left in my website shop, so you can pop over there if you're interested. I send them most places around the world, America, Australia, New Zealand, all those sort of places. Unfortunately, I don't send to Europe because of the tariff problems that I can't seem to get around. Not the tariffs as such, but there are quality, safety issue things they've put in place there. But yes, if you're living in Canada, America, or any of those places, I do ship there every week. All right, so there we have it, ladies. That's our cover. I will, as I say, be sticking on the pieces that I showed you that go in over here. So that's that. And we will finalize the elastic, and I will put the video in for you there to show you how to do that. It's pretty simple, much easier than sewing in signatures if you're scared of doing that. All right, so we've got our two signatures here. Here they are, number 1 and number 2. Those are going to go in here. And yeah, we're going to be making a start next week on our very first project to go into this journal, and I cannot wait. All right, everyone, take good care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment so I know what you think, and I will see you again next week on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will love and leave you. See you all very soon. Bye-bye.